I suggest that Leo and Françoise to come because we have a few more minutes for the discussion. So if there are further questions for these speakers, that's my physical exercise. I'm running to give you the mic.
Pour les polio, j'ai cru comprendre.
For polio, if I go to Lamalu, what I understand is that I should choose neurology and
supplément polio, mais sinon, les médecins.
and rheumatology, right? Otherwise, I have to file another case. We have two departments. We have neurology in your case, but we suggest also to choose the orientation rheumatology because, as the other people told you earlier, there are consequences of this disease that can abuse of some joints and make them weaker. And so we work on rheumatology, on arthritis, and we know that these cure do help. So we suggest that you subscribe for both. Now, about the polio module, it's just a additional, it's just a complement. It's not compulsory. You can do it all year long. And it's a bit like today, throughout activities that we've targeted, you will be able to meet with other patients. And you know that depending on the people you talk to, they will see you differently. And we use experts, at least. So this cure helps you to get access to knowledgeable people.
Non, mais c'est exactement ça. Je vous rappelle que la demande d'entente préalable est remplie par le médecin quand même.
But of course, the request has been to be filed by the prescription of the doctor, right? He's the one making the decision. They are the one making the decision. And this thermal cure is for neurological matters. But of course, in the polio cases, we add rheumatology because there is also deficiency at the joint level, often at least. And they do justify rheumatology. So usually I just put on my prescription, neurology and then parenthesis rheumatology. Okay? But I don't put both.
Thank you very much. I'm Stefan Greiter from Slovakia.
So representing European Polio Union, I do not have a question to any of you gentlemen. I have a more general comment. It is about the language we use. We have heard several times during the day about disabled people. We are not disabled people. I am not a disabled man. I have never seen more abled men like Robert. Look at him. We have here more than maybe 10, 15 people who are over 80 years of age. We are able people. Maybe we just don't know about it. So we have some disability, maybe, but we are not disabled. Thank you.
Si je peux répondre,
If I may answer, and I've worked extensively with more senior people because thermal cure goes hand in hand with older people, of course. And I often ask these people, what do you mean by being old? And when they are 50 years old, they often tell me, you're in charge of thermal cure, you only deal with old people. These are categories. Yes, of course, your comment is right. But I don't have prejudices. I'm not judging. I'm provoking a bit my patients. You're here for an intensive training, nearly. They come to rest for a cure, but I will ask them to do some mobility exercises, and I will push them really for them to be able to gain autonomy. So I'm not judging at all. I'm not talking about disability. I'm dealing with people that have one disability, but they have to live with it. And I totally agree with you, and trust me, I'm your first advocate. I would like to add something on that and go further. But there's also the issue of translation. But disability is universal. Being disabled is something universal. Every year, it's more difficult. And the notion is just universal. It's something that applies to everybody, and we all know that. When people are aging, they are scared of losing autonomy. They are scared of becoming disabled. That's the issue of definition of disability right now. And depending on the definition we use at the governmental level, they say it's 3 million disabled people or 5 million. So really, nobody agrees on that, but it's universal. Of course, I agree with you. But what would be even greater is that all of us would consider ourselves as potentially disabled. There's no more issue. We have very good athletes, ambassadors in France that want to display clearly that they have a disability. So it's very difficult because we are talking about a definition that is very fine and nobody really knows how to define it. Thank you very much. I have a question for Leo and then for the director at Lamalou. We are interested by what you've presented about the adapted activities. So how does it work concretely? And then you've talked about an app. I've tried to download it. You have to register, but does it work? Because I've tried and it doesn't seem to work. I don't know if it's already active. And about Lamalou, is this cure totally reimbursed by Social Security? Is it totally covered? Or is there something we have to pay for? I will answer first. So for your first question, I will give you the contact detail of the trainers. You just call him, and it's just a department at the hospital. You call them, and then they will offer you an appointment. Now, for the app, it's functional. You have to register, yes, indeed. But the question is, what kind of phone do you have? Why? Well, because we've developed it on Android. The iPhone version is only possible to use through a website. We want to add it to the App Store, but the issue is that Steve Jobs has put a lot of obstacles to creating applications and put them on the App Store. But it's totally possible to use it on a website, and it's totally free, and no data will be recorded. This app is just a connection. There's no data recorded, there's no surveillance. We want it to be open source, and we don't want any issues with data, okay? But why do we ask you to register? Well, it's just to give you a profile and follow up on your exercises. Now, on your question about the reimbursement, the coverage by the Social Security, well, the rates are imposed. We have to follow them. We have no choice. It depends on the number of treatments, on different aspects, on the patients. So there is a coverage by a reimbursement by the Social Security, but then it's a case-by-case situation. You can have more or less reimbursement. But let's be honest. What will cost you the most is accommodation, food and accommodation, honestly, and also transport. You might be astonished because you will have to stay for 3 weeks somewhere, so it will cost you quite a lot just for accommodation. I would like to give you an example. I do a neurological cure at Lamalu every year. And in the past, I was doing also the rheumatology one. But with time now, I'm too exhausted, so I only do neurological one. What I wanted to say is that there's Professor Lafont there who told me the first thing you have to do, and it's quite easy, is to do the first 3 weeks of thermal cure at Lamalu. So that's what she told me right away, and that's how I discovered their place. And for Polio-France, well, you've been asking for 2 years to be able to present your cure to our members and to be able to present your activities. And honestly, when we want to go to your location and present our activities, you always welcome us. Well, I have to say that collectively we are always stronger. And we want to meet your needs. Because we talk about the expert patients, the knowledgeable patients. So of course we need your feedbacks. If not, how can we be adapted to your needs, really? Another question? I think we can say thank you to our speakers of the day.